what I need you to help me with is give me the best tips that you can think of for the player's perspective as well as the DM's perspective.
All right, I have a few rapid fire tips for you, but I think that the first thing that I want to say is the fact that what you are most interested in is making sure that people have a good time. That may seem like a silly thing to say, but some of the DMs I've seen and some of the way that people talk about running their sessions, I actually think it's a lot more rare than we might want it to be. First tip, and this is especially good for new players or if players like are a bit more shy, is take the time to spotlight characters and ask them questions about what they're feeling or what they're thinking, especially if you've noticed they haven't maybe interacted in a while. Sometimes people, especially if they're shy, again, new players, they sometimes have trouble jumping in at certain places or, knowing when they should speak up. Or if you have other players who are a bit more eager to, role play or to answer things, they sometimes will jump in there before other people have a chance to. So taking a moment between scenes to stop and ask someone, based on what's happened, maybe based on some backstory stuff, how is so-and-so feeling about this? Giving them moments to narrate a little bit can actually go a long way in helping people feel comfortable. Next is to understand that no plan will survive the players. Even the players' plans won't survive the players. So try not to get too hung up on, you had planned out a specific thing or was hoping something would unfold a certain way and it doesn't. You really have to learn to just sort of roll with the punches and rely on yourself in the moment to be able to improv things. I know a lot of DMs, especially early on, will over prepare stuff. But in my experience, the sessions where I just have like a few notes and I don't go really in depth into details and, what I hope happens or what I'm going to say, et cetera, those actually tend to be much better sessions when I'm just sort of doing it in the moment and responding honestly to the players. And frustratingly sometimes, those are also the sessions where players have the most fun and think, wow, how long did all that take to prep? This was so great. That was so amazing. Yeah, I made it all up on the spot. One of the biggest lessons I learned, though, is that it's okay to change things up on the fly as well. I used to have this weird mentality that when I sat down before a session and I prepped something out specifically for combat, if it's like, all right, here's the boss, here's the 4 minions, that once the session started, I shouldn't change that because it felt like cheating, right? Like, this is what I prepped, and if they do well against that, then, oh well, that's just too bad. I'll do better next time. I don't think that's true now. I think that as the DM, your job is to make sure they're having fun. If you put together an encounter that they're breezing by, not because they're strategizing well, but maybe you just miscalculated the balance and everyone looks bored, spice it up a little bit. Add more enemies in. Give them a more dangerous spell. Do what you need to do to make sure they're engaged and having fun.